Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Jay with Kinetic, and in this video we're going to discuss connecting outboard gear to a Yamaha QL or CL. And in this video I'm using a Yamaha QL5 for demonstration. In this video I'm going to show you two different ways to hook up the outboard gear. Way number one is going to be using the inserts on the channels or the mixes, and this is the one I think everybody forgets. There's a reason why on the back of a Yamaha console the outputs aren't just called outputs, they're called omni outs, because they could be used to feed a piece of PA, or they could be used in an insert chain. The second way I'm going to show you is returning onto a channel. So sending something into a mix, routing that mix out of an omni, and then returning it to a channel, and then routing that channel appropriately to wherever you want. So let me show you how I have everything hooked up here first, and we'll jump into our first demonstration, which is using an insert on a channel to connect to outboard gear. Thanks for watching. Let's dive in.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Okay, things I'm using for this video. We have our Yamaha QL5. We have a Fostex, which is going to be in place of our PA. And I have a Yamaha Rev 500 reverb unit that we're going to use in place of our rack-mounted outboard gear. I am going out of Omni number 8 into the input on my rack gear, and then exiting with the output. This is all analog XLR, and I'm returning that on input 8. And I'm just keeping them output 8, input 8, just to make it easier for myself, but obviously that can be anything that you want it to be. I have an SM58 hooked up to I have an SM58 hooked up to input 1, and I'm using output 1 to feed the Fostex. And simple routing before we dive in on the screen. I have an SM58 hooked up to input number 1. Input number 1 is being fed to mix 1, and we can quickly see that again if we want to go into sends on fader, mix 1, and then if I go to mix 1 here, I'm sending it out of Omni number 1 into my Fostex over there. So input 1 sent into mix 1, mix 1 sent to the Fostex, and of course this is all just to show you my routing, and mix 1 is currently set to post fader. Now let's jump in on the screen. So I have channel 1 selected. I'm going to go into my insert here, and as you can see we have two inserts. So remember again, I'm going out of output number 8, Omni 8, into my outboard gear. So out, Omni 8, and I am then returning to input 8. So input 8, and we could check test. I'm talking into my SM58. I see level here, and I see return level. Check. And if we bring it up, it's post fader. You should hear it in the Fostex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And of course, that signal is currently dry because our insert is off. Now, if I turn it on, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For the next demonstration, I'm going to show you how to send into a mix and then return onto a channel. And that can be used for a variety of reasons, including maybe you want an entire group to be affected by your outboard gear. So let's do that now. I'm going to route channel 1 into mix 2 this time. And I like to just clear everything out first. So we're going to call this group effects. And this is going to exit, because remember, Omni 8 is feeding my outboard gear, and input 8 is the return from the outboard gear. So Omni 8. And then I'm going to go into Sends on Fader. I'm going to go to Group Effects. And now we are going to send, I'll send channels 1 through 8 for fun. I like a function called Set Nominal, which is a user-defined key that puts all the faders to unity. And you can also feed it any way you want, but I'm now routing channels 1 through 8 into my group effects. And then I'm going to have that return now on channel number 2. I'm sorry, we're using 1 through 8. I'm going to have that returning onto a channel that we haven't used yet, pretty far away. I'll call that channel 16. So I'm going to take channel 16, and instead of input 16, I'm going to have it be input 8, because input 8 is the return from my outboard gear. And we're going to call this effects return. And I'll make it another color. And the last thing you have to remember is you still need to route this effects the same way as you would route any other channel to your end destination. If that's, you're using, if you're sending it to stereo or the mono bus, or in this case, we're just feeding a Fostex with mix 1. So sends, mix 1, effects return there. Now with this down, check, 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 check. We hear it dry there, but I could see the effects return jumping right now. And this is the wet. So I have my effects rack completely just wet right now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can hear the reverb there. And if I want to pull the dry channel out, it's just wet. And of course, on your outboard gear, you have a wet dry as well. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That is the return on a channel method. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was useful. I'm generally trying to improve the quality of these videos and just streamline the process and get the knowledge out there. So obviously this was just 2 ways to get it done. I hope that inspired you to be creative and how can I try different combinations of things, because that's ultimately a big part of the fun, right? And one of the joys of a Yamaha console is there are so many ways to get to the same place. So again, thanks for watching and I hope you have a great day.
Remember to like and subscribe.